Hello, my name is Devin with HDpiano.com, and in today's lesson, I'll be showing you guys how to play Wild World by Cat Stevens. Sounds like this: 3, 4. Here's the verse. Do it again. And we're into the chorus with a nice big hit on C. So we're going to learn that much here in this first video, this first installment. That's the intro and the verse. And then over at HDpiano.com, we'll be learning the rest of the tune from top to bottom. Now, you might have noticed that what I played there was the accompaniment version, meaning it's meant to accompany a singer or an instrumentalist, whether that's you singing or a friend of yours singing or playing the sax or whatever. But we'll also be looking at a melody version, which puts the melody in the right hand, something like this. All right, so we'll be studying that as well over at HDpiano.com. But regardless of which version you're after, I'd recommend learning this accompaniment version first, because we're going to focus more on the harmony and really understanding how this song works, because it has a lot of very predictable kind of like essential harmonic devices that really help if you can just have a basic understanding of some of the motions of the chords. So I'd recommend working through this lesson first, and then you can add the melody. So let's get started. We're in the key of A minor, and by the way, I'll save the harmonic talk, the bulk of it at least, for the end of this video. For now, we'll just get this intro and verse happening. But real quick, I want to mention that we're in the key of A minor, and the verses are very minor, and the choruses are very major, because they go to the relative major, C major. Right? That hook in the piano part and the guitar part, that's just the major scale going down. And it's the same in A minor. Whoops. We see the same 7 notes, all white notes, but we will occasionally see little F sharps and G sharps, so beware of that. All right, so we're going to learn the chords in the verse, and then we'll take a look at the intro. We start with A minor root position. A, C, E, with A in the left. And the tempo is 76 beats per minute, and we go through 2 chords per measure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we go from A minor root position to D major second inversion. That's A, D, F sharp. To G major first inversion, B, D, G. And then we come down for C major second inversion, G, C, E. So once again, A minor, D major, G major, and C major. And then we're going to open up to F major, A, C, F in the right, and then just move that C to a D and bring our left down to a D. And this gives us D minor. And then we come in for E major, G sharp, B, and E. So A minor, D major, G major, C major, F major, D minor, and E. Now E is the 5 chord, and that's why when we land on this chord, the 5 chord always wants to resolve to 1, and we just hear this tension. Right? We just want it so bad to go back to A minor, and that's how we complete the loop. So we just basically end up doing that again in the verse. Now, there's a little bass line action happening, and we play the chords on beat 2 to kind of simulate the strum of the guitar. So it'd be 1 and 2, 3, try it with me. 1 and 2, let's do it one more time. A chord, D chord. All right, so that's the basic pattern. So you can get this 1 measure loop going. One more time. All right, let's move on to G major, to C major, to F F major to D minor, and then we stay on E for a whole measure. One more time. Okay, so we've got the basic core main riff, that 4-measure loop that defines the verse, the intro, the solo. I guess it's not really a solo as much as just a reprise of the intro after the second chorus. But yeah, very common progression that we hear all throughout the piece, and there's just a few little minor variations in there. So we're gonna add the and of 4 to every bass line. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, same here, and 4 and 1 and 2, down to D, and 4 and 1 and 2. Okay, so that pattern continues for those first 3 measures, and we get on this E chord, and this is the da da da, and the way we have it notated here is. Alright, so the left hand just chugs away steady eighth notes on E, 3 and 4 and. So we go 1 and chord, and then on the final 16th, so 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. All right, so anticipating every eighth note, we go G sharp and E twice to the A to the B, keeping the E on top. So 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1, and that's how we get back to repeat the cycle of the verse. Now earlier I did a little. That's what I like to do when I play it solo. It's not something you hear on the recording. They just hang on this E. But you know, you can move your left hand in parallel, E, F sharp, G sharp if you like that. And then we just loop the verse again. And 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, D minor, 4, and we land both hands together on E. And this is a bar of 2. We go 1 and 2 and 1, and then we have a measure of 4. Love that. Kind of adds this little extra tension to get us into the chorus, which is suddenly major and happy. All right, so what just happened there? Well, we hit E major on the downbeat, 1 and E to G. And it's like we're going from the 5 chord of A minor to the 5 chord of C major. Just a drastic or immediate transition. Take it up now. And then we cement that shift by bringing our right hand way up to C, F, and A. And then just moving this down the white notes. B, E, G, A, D, F. So 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Now on the left hand, we're gonna go D, F, and we're gonna add this F. We're gonna just double the middle note of the chord, but we're gonna play eighth notes. So 2 of these for every 4 of these. So 3. So I'll count it off again. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a C. All right. Once again, E major. Up to G1 and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Once again, left hand just hangs on G, and then the F goes to E, goes to D, and chorus. One more time. 2 and 3 and 4 E and 1. Whoops, I messed up the counting. So 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a hit. Okay, so we've got the verse leading us into the chorus. Let's take a look at the intro. The intro is arguably a little bit more difficult than the verse, but it's very pattern-based, and we'll talk about why in a minute. But basically, we've got these spread voicings, right? So instead of playing A minor, A, C, E in the left, we're playing A, E, C, which widens it and makes it a little less muddy. And we can just do this with every chord. So D major would be D, F sharp, and A, we just take that middle note out and put it on top. D, A, F sharp. Same for G. G, B, D, middle note up the octave, gives us G, D, and B. Same for C. C, E, G, middle note up the octave, gives us C, G, E. F, F, A, C, A goes up. D minor, D, F, A, F goes up. E major, E, G sharp, B, G sharp goes up. Okay, so and then we play it with a little pattern. All right, so we play the root twice. Root, root, chord, 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 root, root, chord. Okay, pretty simple in the left hand there. And the right hand is going to go. Very pattern based. We've just got C and E, moving down to B and D, moving down to A and C, moving down to G sharp and B. So 1 and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1, 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1, 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1, 2. On E, we just hit together. Left just plays 1, 2. Alright, so then the left hand just hangs on E, much like in the verse. 2, or rather 3 and 4. While the right hand plays this arpeggiated part, which we do hear in the piano part on the recording. B, G sharp, E, B, G sharp. This is just all the notes of an E major triad. 5th, 3rd, root, 5th, 3rd, and then we go to A, E, A, E, and then we land on A together. So whole intro. Alright, so you might notice that I'm able to make this reach for some of these chords, or I play them all together. Now, if you can't do that, totally fine, just use the pedal. Just move up and grab it. Although I wouldn't recommend using your pinky for both, because then your pinky has to do a lot of work. So, try something like this. And that keeps your hand from moving too much. Use your middle finger if you want. Whatever you want to do. Oops. Okay, so we've learned the intro, we've learned the verse, and that just leaves a little bit of harmonic talk that I wanted to get into. The reason this song sounds kind of cadential, predictable, it's like we just kind of know where it's going, is because it's following the circle of fifths. A, down to D, down to G, down to C. I'm out of space, but C, down a fifth to F. Those first 5 notes are all just moving down the circle of fifths. Now you might know the song. At first I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I would never live without you by my side. Then I spent too many nights, and then here, it keeps going to a B minor instead, and then it lands on the 5 chord. Lots of similarities there. How about Fly Me to the Moon? Also, same root motion, at least for the first 5 chords. So Wild World is very similar, except the only real difference is that that first D, right, fly me to the moon, would take us to a D minor, but instead, we get this kind of like bright, uplifting 4 chord here, which gives us, so it's like, you know, it's going from a very comfortable chord to a bright chord, to a very comfortable chord, to a bright chord, that being the major, relative major, comfortable chord, and then here, ooh, staying dark, I see, and then brightening it up for a whole measure to create this tension to pull us back to the 1 chord. So yeah, that harmony is all just coming out of that circle of fifths, and there's just something about a bass line that moves up in fourths or down by fifths, same thing, to just really push the harmony in a way that you just want to like follow it all the way to the end, because it just doesn't want to stop. It just wants to keep going through that cycle. So anyways, that's a bit of the harmonic component that's really driving this verse, and then we just take that relative major up to the relative, we go from the minor to the relative major for the chorus, which is just such a simple compositional trick, but it really just brightens everything up and gives us a whole new world to explore in the chorus. So I'm going to leave it at that, and we'll see you over at part 2, where we will take a look at that chorus. We'll see you there. My name's Devin with HDpiano.com.